Okay, guys, so we're going to be talking about women's hormones and women's wellness, balancing hormones. It's actually just not for women, but it's for men as well. So if there's a man in your life who could benefit from essential oils and balancing their hormones, this is a great opportunity to keep learning more about it. So recognizing a hormone imbalance is the first step to any kind of recovery. So some of you guys, you mentioned acne and low libido and PMS. So those are signs that you recognize it, which is great, but sometimes you don't even have to recognize it because it just hits you on the head like a hammer. And it's just like, psh, you know, and for me, I get really bad headaches when it's my time of the month, like terrible migraines, and I want to die, and I want to be under a bed and just close my eyes and cry because they're horrible. They're horrible migraines. And so that's why I started, you know, taking more action to learn about hormone and hormone balance. There's a lot of tests that measure hormone, you know, levels, but they're largely inaccurate because hormones are always changing and they're fluctuating, and they come from a lot of different places. They don't just come from one specific place. And it's more relevant than to look at the common symptoms associated with hormone imbalance. So we're going to talk about some of the common symptoms. So just say amen if you know what I'm talking about. So irritability.
Amen.
Okay. Excessive sweating.
Amen.
Yeah. Food cravings.
Amen.
Yeah. Fatigue.
Amen.
Weight gain.
Amen.
Low libido.
Amen.
Mood swings or depressive mood.
Amen.
Appetite changes and more food cravings. Difficulty sleeping.
Amen.
Yeah. Joint or muscle pain.
Amen.
Yeah. Headache.
Amen.
Fluid retention.
Amen.
Bloating.
Amen.
Breast tenderness. Acne.
Amen.
And digestive problems like constipation or diarrhea.
Amen.
So all those are all related to hormones. And so some months you might experience one. Some months it might be two. You may not even recognize when one is popping up for you. There could be a night when maybe you just have difficulty sleeping and you cannot recognize if it's stress related or hormone related. But the whole idea now is that we're getting to learn more and more about these nuances in our body and to recognize it. Estrogen and progesterone are the main steroidal hormones that affect women's health. So each of these has a broad scope of functions that extend far beyond reproductive health. In fact, female sex hormones influence energy levels. So, you know, remember when you first found love, guys? You know, that like first kiss, and you just felt like so energized you couldn't even sleep at night because you're just like, and it's hormones. Like, just go back to when you were 13, when the hormones are just like raging and you're just like a big sexual, like you just have so much energy, and the highlight of your day is going to middle school and seeing the boy or the girl, if that's, you know, whatever it is, like seeing that person of your interest, and you get so high and filled up just by thinking about them and looking at them. Like when I think of hormones, that's what I think of. Like I've had those experiences where I was just a crazy lunatic in love, and you can't think of anything else because you've got the hormones and the sexual stuff all on your mind, and it's all biology. You can't repress it either. So what we do as we get older, we kind of lose that. We lose that excitement, we lose that energy, and so that's why we do what we do. We use essential oils to help bring us back into that homeostasis, that we're not too high or too low, that we don't have too much in our system or too little in our system. So it helps. Learning about our hormones will affect our sleep cycle, right? Brain function, bone health, heart health, weight management, and many other factors. So we talked a little bit before about cortisol, right? And so what do you guys remember about cortisol that I said?
Stress.
It's the stress, right? So what's an example of when you would feel stressed? Traffic, yes. When you have to be somewhere and there's just a whole bunch of traffic and It's not moving. Work, you've got a big job, and you've got a lot of responsibility and paperwork or whatever, computer work, and clients calling you, and kids gnawing at you, and whatever it is. Stress happens in our society, and we have primitive brains. Like, our lives have evolved, and cars have, and technology and all this stuff is very recent, but we have these primitive, ancient brains. So it's like flight or flight. You're either going to be eaten by a tiger or you're not, and that's really where the cortisol kicks in. It's like, so we go into like flight or flight mode. We can go into flight or flight mode like several times a day, which is really bad for our bodies, when we're really actually not supposed to go into that crazy fight or flight. But because the stress of our society, because of all the things that we have, and all the gadgets and all the commitments, we create that intensity for ourselves. So they call this the clutch the pearls reaction. That like 1940s woman, like, that's how you know, like just do it. Like that's how it feels when cortisol is taken over your body. You're just like, so it's a stress response. It's triggered. It's like the running around like a little, that friend of yours is always like that's actually pretty stressful for their body, and they need to just slow down. I'm actually that person, so I understand what it's like to be super stressed out and running from one thing to the next without actually pausing and taking that time for yourself. Traffic is extremely stressful. Finances are very, very stressful. Back in the day, like, okay, you had maybe to get food, like that was it, like, and shelter, okay, very important, and to survive. But now it's like the mortgage payment, the car payment, the credit card payment, the college payment, my family needs money, whatever it is. Like, there's a lot more money stressors now than there've ever been throughout history. We can't just like go out into your backyard and like get all your food. Whereas back in the day, like that's pretty much what it was. And you had your chickens and you had your cows, and if you had a nice, plentiful harvest, that's what you had. You didn't have all the stress with where to get all your food and everything. So your body goes into fight or flight mode, and that's where the cortisol can be very problematic for your body. So cardiac issues, also weight issues. So I learned about the gut. Like, women tend to keep a lot of amen. They tend to keep a lot of love, which I'm just gonna call it love. Like, I have a lot of love right here. I don't know if it's stress related. I don't know. I've tried a lot. I'm not about to do a tummy tuck. I'm a pretty healthy person, but this is just where my body holds on to its stuff. And this is the fight or flight storage. This is like, oh no, shit's gonna hit the fan, I'm gonna run, and I need some storage. And this is where your body holds on to it. Also with men, with love handles. So cortisol is, it's important in certain situations, but when there's a rise in it, it's definitely problematic all over the body. So we're going to talk about the top oils for balancing hormones. So what was the first one that we used today? Or we actually used Clary Comp, but the first one that we did specifically for hormones was Clary Sage. So Clary Sage helps balance estrogen production in the body. So when there's an overproduction of estrogen, it could be problematic, right? So when there's an overproduction and when there's a decrease in estrogen, that can also be problematic on many levels. So overproduction of estrogen, this is something when you see men with like man boobs, that can be an overproduction of estrogen for men, right? And for women, it manifests in many different ways. What would be an example of like an overproduction of estrogen?
There's a nurse in here. I know. Myself. It was the one last night. Like overproduction of estrogen, would that be acne and irregularity?
Yeah, exactly. Acne, irregularity, fertility issues. So the whole idea is we want to balance out our hormones and help regulate them. And so Clary Sage brings us back into homeostasis. And rubbing clary sage on the bottoms of your feet, especially on the big toes, and also putting it on your hands and inhaling every morning is a really good way to bring that grounding in. And yeah, to talk a little bit more about clary sage. Is it so hot? Is it hot in here? Or am I hormones? Is anybody hot? No, okay. Okay. Yeah. So also breast enlargement, when you see women with like big, do you remember Soli Moon Fry from Punky Brewster? She had a breast reduction. Okay, she had a breast reduction at like 13 or 14. She was really, really young. So she had an overactive estrogen issues. So women who have giant boobs sometimes have overestrogen issues. Sometimes it's genetic, of course, but that could be an estrogen thing. Also, you know, girls who get their periods really young, that's an overproduction of estrogens. When you hear about a girl getting her period at like 11, you're just like, oh my gosh. And so where does the imbalance happen? It happens, does anybody want to guess where it starts to occur, the imbalance of estrogens? Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's actually through chemicals in the environment. So plastics, even medications, the plastics that your medications come in, the foods that we eat, and the stuff we put on our body. So deodorants, some of those have chemicals, that especially the spray ones, they have chemicals. Soaps that we're putting on our skin, our cleaners, a lot of this stuff can disrupt our hormone levels and can disrupt the estrogen production in our body. So eliminating toxicity in your body will help bring your body back into homeostasis and to regulate your estrogen levels. So my body went into a full shock because of cortisol, and I had drastically changed my eating patterns because I was bulimic for 8 years, which I talked about before. I was bulimic for 8 years, and I used a lot of things to supplement my own insecurity of myself. So I used drugs and alcohol, and I was bulimic. And I actually was very regular with my time of the month, you know. And then once I stopped doing the drugs and the alcohol and the bulimia, my body went into complete shock. It went into complete shock, and my cortisol levels went all the way up. And what do you think happened? I stopped getting my period. I actually stopped getting my period for 5 years, okay? I stopped getting my period for 5 years, and it was very demoralizing as a woman to lose my period. I didn't know why I lost my period, and I was like, what's going on? My hormones were all out of whack because my body had actually gotten very adjusted to being bulimic for 8 years and doing tons of drugs. I actually still got my period at that time when I was doing all the crazy stuff. And then the minute I stopped it, isn't that crazy? I actually stopped eating flour and sugar. I stopped using alcohol, and I stopped doing drugs, and I stopped being bulimic. You know, and this was 15 years ago, and my body stopped getting its period. So it can be extremes in any regard, you know, can alter your time of the month, and especially that cortisol. So I had to find ways to lower my cortisol levels through natural remedies such as yoga, meditation, essential oils, and acupuncture. So when I was trying to get pregnant, I wanted to get pregnant, and it's very hard to get pregnant if you do not have your period. Two things go together very well, periods and pregnancy. So I really, you know, I had to do a lot of inner work and a lot of meditation and prayer and stress reduction. And finally, I went to acupuncture, and wouldn't you know, the next day I got my period after 5 years. Yeah. So once that happened, I was like, all the doctors I went to, they could not give me a solution. It was incredible. Like, I was like, I want to get pregnant, and I need this back. Like, I need this thing that is very feminine back that makes me feel like a woman. I was also losing bone density because I wasn't getting my period. So that's another thing that is really important with hormone balance. You're keeping your bones healthy. So it was really affecting my bones. I was feeling weaker. My hair was starting to get very thin, and I would say even fall out at times, because your estrogen and your hormones also dictate your hair. You know, that's why after some women have their children, their hair starts to fall out, because their hormones are a big mess. And so clary sage helps with regulating that hormone level. Also, another oil that is, what I love about doTERRA is they put together the oils for you, so you don't have to create the blends for yourself. This is called Clary Calm, and this is 12 essential oils like lavender and bergamot and ylang ylang and cedarwood and geranium. And basically, when it's your time of the month, this helps regulate that PMS, that premenstrual, what is it, premenstrual syndromes. Like, I want to kill everyone, and I hate the world, and I want to die. That kind of stuff. Well, that's not everybody. Sometimes it's just bad mood. You know, just walking home and you don't even know why you're in a bad mood, and one minute you're happy, and the next minute you just feel like jumping under a car.
I start, like, I'll be in the grocery store and I'll like look at somebody and I'll be like, they look sad, and I'll start crying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Like, I'll be
empathy.
like,
It's like that's your that's where the
like
estrogen and everything, the hormones are just all over. And I know, I just start crying over a commercial, and I'm like a Hallmark commercial, and I'm like, ah! It is. So let me tell you, you're gonna put this on your uterus, ovaries, right around here. This is really good for pregnant women and also women who want to get pregnant. This is all your Shakti energy. This is your sacral chakra. This is your source of female empowerment, and you just put it on your ovaries, right? You can also put it on your pulse points, and you can wear it as a perfume. I also really recommend diffusing it on your chest, and I'll tell you how you do that. You get diffusing jewelry. So this is stuff you can buy on Etsy. There's super cute diffusing jewelry, and it's something you can just smell all day long when you're at work, when you feel like, smashing your computer up against the wall. This is a great time to smell some oils. So I'm gonna pass that around. Also, putting it on your big toe is a great way.
Does that one come as a regular oil?
No, unfortunately it doesn't. But the thing is, you can make it yourself.
Okay.
You can make your own Clary Calm by using just the oils in the Clary Calm. It just happens to be 12 oils. So it's a lot of oils, but it's definitely something to look into. But so that's just topical. All right, the next one that we want to talk about is the Woman's Blend. So this was one of the, when I first started with doTERRA, with essential oils, well, like you guys had talked about, where did you get your essential oils? And you said it from Marshall's. I was very spiritual, and I got my oils from Marshall's too, because that's how I rolled. And I just didn't know that oils are not all oils are made the same. There's certain levels, and like wine, you can get drunk on really cheap wine, or you can have fine wine that's sourced from Paris or wherever that's from originally. Same thing with essential oils. These oils are 100% certified therapeutic grade, so they're certified that they're sourced in the place where the plant is most indigenous to that environment. So you know when you're getting wintergreen, that's in the deep blue, that it's sourced in Nepal, and that it's tested and retested. The soil is tested and retested for optimal purity and potency. And that's really important when you're using these oils therapeutically. You do not want to use oils from, Marshall's or Home Goods or whatever on your body, or God forbid, in your mouth. Like, please don't do that. If you want it to just smell good and smell like Christmas, go for it. But listen, I used to do the Glade plugins and the Reed diffusers, and I had no idea. And my cat would be walking around, and my poor little cat, like, smelling that stuff. That's toxic chemicals. And especially when you have little kids running around on the floor and everything, you want to make it as pure and toxic-free, because once again, it's hormone regulation. If you eliminate chemicals, and look, some chemicals we can't regulate, right? You have a water bottle right there. Listen, you're gonna drink out of a water bottle. Freaking A, like that's what you got right there. It's a plastic water bottle. You're gonna go outside. That muffler's gonna somehow, you're gonna get that toxic stuff in your face. But we can try to avoid what we can try to avoid. You can open up your medicine cabinet and think, okay, what has toxic chemicals in it? What's completely man-made and synthetic? All right, that one and that one and that one, and just try to start eliminating. When I open up my medicine cabinet now, what do I see? Essential oils in glass bottles, you know? And I used to be all about the plastic, you know, Robitussin, and I grew up on Sudafed. Like, that was my go-to. My mom was like, you got allergies? Sudafed. You're sick? Robitussin. Like, go to bed. You're sick? Theraflu. You got, you know, whatever it was. Airborne, you know, just this stuff, this synthetic stuff. So the woman's blend helps just regulate libido. It's really good for libido. And that was one of the first oils I got because, let's be honest, I just needed help with my libido. Okay, I'm just going to put it all out there. And I got Whisper, and I got a blend for immunity, and I got lavender because I was like, everyone likes lavender. I should like lavender too. And actually, I'm not actually the biggest lavender fan, to be honest. I mean, of all the oils, like, lavender is not my fave, but I did fall in love with Whisper. And I'm going to pass that around. So it's used as a perfume, but really good for hot flashes. So anybody with premenopausal or postmenopausal issues, really great for that. Libido and sex drive. So if you've been with your partner for a while and you're just feeling like, this is a great...
I love this.
Yeah.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, just wear his perfume. And that's the thing, I grew up with a mother who collected perfume bottles. I'm talking about, she's a good addict in that way. She went big, like go big or go home. And we're talking like 3 giant bookcases full of perfume bottles. So what is all that? It's toxic, right? And I grew up with being around a lot of toxic perfume. So this is a perfume that's actually just essential oils. It's just plants. And it smells so beautiful because it has the pure, it's got the bergamot, it's got the ylang-ylang, it's got the patchouli and the vanilla bean and the jasmine and the cinnamon and the vetiver, which we talked about, which is like the real tranquilizing oil for stress reduction and cortisol reduction, and sandalwood and rose oil. So that's your go-to. It's really good for anger. So I have anger issues when I'm in a car. I love that you said that. I was going to say your name, but I'm not going to say it. But I love that you talked about being in a car and being angry, because that's a big issue for me. I get really like anxious when I'm in a car and people are not driving properly, which means just drive fast. What's that?
When people cut you off.
Oh, when people cut me off. Okay, the next one that we're going to talk about for just woman's goodness is ylang-ylang, and I just saying it is so fun. Ylang-ylang, ylang-ylang, yeah. So ylang-ylang, I'm going to talk a little bit about that one. So helpful with the libido issues, right? And also hair loss. So as I said before, hormone imbalances can lead to hair loss and thinning hair. So ylang-ylang and also rosemary and lavender are really good to just put on your scalp. I hate that word, scalp. Is there another word for that? Head, I guess. Just rubbing it on your head, but then also putting it in your shampoo and conditioners, okay? And doTERRA makes really beautiful shampoo and conditioner, but if you have your own brand at home that you're like, I'm never leaving my brand, then just put a little bit of rosemary, put a little bit of ylang-ylang, and put a little bit of lavender. And once again, your hair is going to smell amazing, and you're also going to stimulate that hair follicle production that you can use as well. And also oily skin. So this is really good for the acne prone out there, women who have acne issues. It's also really great for infertility and hormone imbalance. So using ylang-ylang just to balance out the hormones, really. So a lot of issues that women have, I'd say the 2 main issues that women talk to me a lot about is weight and stress. So stress and weight. So one of the ones I love for just general weight and overall just getting stuff moving in your body is called the Metabolic Blend. And this is called also Slim and Sassy. And you can call it Slim and Sassy, you can call it Metabolic Blend. It's a fun name. This is one that I love taking internally and putting in my water for energy. And that's another one women struggle with, is energy in the morning. so just putting it a little bit on your tongue is really, really wonderful. So try that on your tongue, ladies. Slim and sassy, right? You can be sassy and not slim too. I just wanna be clear about that.
You look thinner.
Yes, yes. So this one is great for cellulite reduction, and also low metabolism. So if you struggled with, the pounds that don't seem to come off of you, and you're just like, why? I do everything. I eat well. I exercise. I sleep, and still things are not shaking for me. This is a great blend to just keep things in order. I'm not going to say your name, but you said specifically about this time of the year, craving of sugar. So using this in your tea, putting this in your water a couple times a day will help with the sugar cravings, because this time of year you go to a holiday party and it's like sugar, and it's like alcohol, and that all disrupts hormones. Sugar is a chemical. It's a synthetic chemical. It does not grow out of the ground. I mean, sugar cane grows out of the ground, but you're not sucking on sugar cane. You're eating synthetic processed sugar. And so that disrupts your hormones, and so does alcohol. And caffeine, ladies. I know you don't want to hear this, but caffeine disrupts your hormone levels as well.
Even green tea?
Maca, have you heard of maca? Is it called maca? Matcha. Matcha is an alternative that you can use, that I hear in the communities is really great. What's that?
I said matcha is magic.
Matcha is magic. So matcha is a great alternative. I actually don't drink coffee, so or alcohol. So it really, I'm a big fan of that. But if you just want to regulate it a little bit more and be more mindful, is a great opportunity, especially in the new year where it's all about reinventing yourself. It's just saying, okay, where can I just, maybe cut down on my, 10 cups of coffee a day. So also with cellulite, this is a great one to just rub over your cellulite, which is great. Yeah, and I have it. I mean, every woman, I think, and if a woman doesn't have it, you'll probably get it at some point. And it's just a great one to rub on. It's good for cleansing and detoxification. Frankincense is literally the oil for everything. Frankincense did you guys see my music video besides, wait, you saw it, right?
I did.
Yeah, you saw it. So frankincense, if you didn't see it yet, it's on my Facebook page, but I sing about, it's called Frankincense, A Love Affair. And frankincense is where is my frankincense? Where you're like, where's my frankincense? You run away from me, baby. Frankincense was one of the oils that baby Jesus received from the three kings, and it's just an amazing oil for stress reduction. And I'll find frankincense is hiding from me at the moment, but oh, there's my frankincense. Okay, so I'm gonna pass it around and just inhale. And just inhaling frankincense in the morning, it's also very good for connecting with your body and reducing stress. And connecting with your, what is this called? Do you remember? Crown chakra. I also use it on my skin for fine lines and wrinkles. And I'm very much convinced that that has helped me age in a way that it's helping with the process. It's inevitable. I'm going to get wrinkles, and I'm going to, things are going to happen, but this is helpful I put it on at night, and I put it over my eyes, and I just do like this over the little parts of my eyes, especially because I used to get a lot of black circles under my eyes, like dark circles. No joke, my grandma had like 5 chins and really dark circle under her eyes. And one of the reasons is she also smokes cigarettes. So if you smoke cigarettes, that's definitely disrupting hormones, and it's causing a lack of elasticity in your skin, which leads to a breakdown in your collagen, which leads to faster production of wrinkles and dark circles under your eyes. So,
can you put this under? Is there a good oil to put under your eyes in the morning for
frankincense?
So it would
Yes.
like help to
Yes,
get the darkness away.
frankincense, and there's another one called yarrow palm, which is like the new jam that everyone's like going crazy about. It just came out December 3rd. You probably, have you tried this yet? The yarrow? Yeah, so watch this. I'm gonna just do it right now. So here's the yarrow. And I kind of look like Tom Brady, but it's specifically for collagen production.
Oh, is it blue?
Because it has the yarrow root and then also the pomegranate.
Oh.
But I believe the yarrow is the blue because pomegranate's not blue.
Pomegranate red.
Yeah, so pomegranate is good for antioxidants, and that's also another secret to anti-aging is antioxidants. And this is an antioxidant that you can also put on your tongue too. So feel free to smell it or dab a little bit on your little finger. So another reason not to smoke cigarettes is that it creates more antioxidants in your body. So you don't want that. All right, we talked about bergamot. So this is really for anxious feelings when you're feeling really down. Bergamot and wild orange rubbing in your hands. We did that at the beginning of this yoga practice that we did in the beginning. And then also bergamot in your diffuser, bergamot in your water for your tea, because it's similar to the Earl Grey tea. It is Earl Grey tea, right? Yeah, you guys are loving that. You're loving that yarrow palm. I love you guys because yarrow palm is my special oil. I don't share that with nobody. That's my special oil. So bergamot is good for stress and insomnia. Some of you guys had insomnia issues. Acne, oily skin, eczema, and psoriasis. So I have psoriasis, so I'm down with the bergamot. It's great for self-worth issues, so bringing that into your world if you have issues around your self-worth. And of course, we talked about grounding blend, and that is for stress reduction and anxiety. So we're going on to the second sheet here. We've moved on through. So what's really important for women is supplementation and having a balance in your body, having healthy supplements. So my favorite is the Lifelong Vitality Pack because hormone balance is also affected by exposure to toxins that we talked about before, toxic stress, outside hormone exposure, and inflammation. The Lifelong Vitality Pack is the foundational step in hormone health. So it's got the alpha CRS, which is the cellular regeneration, and keeping your cells healthy and strong is a good way to create more balance in your body. Also omega oils are incredibly good for your skin, hair, nails, focus, everything, omegas. And if you're a vegan, they do have a vegan Lifelong Vitality. I just want to keep that in mind. And then, of course, the food nutrient supplements. So that's really important for your bone health. We're not getting as much nutrients in the food as we would 100 years ago because of soil depletion, toxic rain, and all that sort of stuff. We can't control what's in the atmosphere, but we can control, putting extra stuff in our body that will help benefit that. So that's my plug for the Lifelong Vitality. And then there's another one called the Phytoestrogen Lifetime Complex. So I'll pass. Unfortunately, I don't have that one on me right this second, but I'm going to pass around what it looks like so you guys can see and read a little bit about it. But the phytoestrogen, do you guys know about phytoestrogen at all? My nurse in here?
I've never heard of it.
So I'll pass that around. So phytoestrogens are, I'm going to get kind of sciencey here, and are adaptogenic molecules derived naturally from plants. And then these compounds have twofold functions. They exert a mildly estrogenic effect in case of hormone deficiency, or they act as a competitive inhibitor that decreases the action of harmful metabolites or block estrogens. So phytoestrogen balances the estrogen, the harmful hormones in your body, which is estrogens. And then there's flaxseed extract, which reduces hormone metabolic load and offers other benefits. And then there's pomegranate extract to manage the physical symptoms of menopause, including hot flashes and aging skin. So no matter what age you are, having the phytoestrogen will just help balance all that. So for the PMS issues, you need that phytoestrogen. For the stress and the acne, phytoestrogen. You need that balance. And then of course, women need bone nutrients. That's, as we get older, you hear about that, like, oh, grandma's calcium level is really low and she's got to take extra this or that. As we get older, just as women, our bones start to decrease and we lose as we age. So there's a bone nutrient complex, and 100%, it's 100% of our recommended daily amounts of calcium and magnesium. And if you take just like calcium all the time, it's actually really could be problematic because it's not going to be absorbed into your. Yeah, you need, look, exactly. So she's smart. She's the nurse in here. You need vitamin D and you need magnesium for it to be absorbed fully. Because when people just take calcium, it's actually could be problematic. And then it creates calcification.
Heart arrhythmias too. If you take too much calcium.
Yes, so nutrition is all about absorption. So if the nutrients are not absorbed and are not in a highly bioavailable form, then it's not going to be effective for absorption. So that's why when some women take a lot of supplements, they end up peeing like yellow because their body is not absorbing the supplements, and it actually could be harmful. So when you take these, they're just completely bioavailable and they're absorbed into your system. And it's just, you know, it's really important to have bone strength no matter what, and bone health. And it's specifically for women teenage to postmenopausal. So just to end here, a diet that is rich in fruits, say amen. Amen. Vegetables, whole grains, and low-fat dairy products fuels your body with the nutrients it needs for optimal functioning. Additionally, exercise such as yoga, which is why it's so awesome we're doing it at the Salty Buddha here in Salem, Massachusetts, is that we all care about our bodies, and yoga is so super important for keeping that regularity. And it improves our hormone balance when we exercise. So more awareness, more self-care, and using essential oils is optimal for health. And creating a morning ritual. I can't remember who said it in here, but they wanted to work on a morning ritual that included maybe meditation, and of course eliminating alcohol and coffee. So that's that. And thanks so much for joining me. And I'm gonna pause now. Thanks, guys. All right.